Hey everyone, many blessings. It is Saturday, July 31st, and I am doing another video. Today, I want to talk about narcissism, and I wanted to address some things because some people might think I could be borderline covert narcissist, and I am definitely not a narcissist. And I want to distance myself from that perspective right now. Thing about it is, I've experienced narcissism literally my whole entire life. I strongly believe that my mother has some narcissistic characteristics about her. My first boyfriend is and was definitely a narcissist. And my high school best friend from high school on to early 20s was a narcissist. Also, other people not as so much close to me, in family, friends, co-workers, I've also experienced narcissism. So I've kind of gotten into the frame of mind that I just naturally attract narcissistic people. And it took me a while. Like, when you're born into this world, you're born naive. Like, you think, everybody's going to accept you, everybody's going to love you for who you are. And then you come to a harsh reality that's not what it is. Especially if you have a certain light about you. If you are chosen by Yah, pretty much the world's going to be against you. And if you don't have anybody there to guide you and bring you to that reality, or if you don't have a real one that is sincerely for you, then you are going to have to struggle and learn from experiences to come to this level of understanding. But I am not a narcissist. But because of the things I've experienced through, dating a narcissist, and then having to overcome that to realizing my best friend is also a narcissist, and then having to overcome that and still struggling with my relationship with my mother. I've assimilated aspects of narcissism as a way for me to distance myself from narcissism. I've learned how a narcissist works in order for me to know how to distance myself from one, or to protect myself from a narcissist. What's that saying? To people to study their enemies. They become their enemies or join their enemies. Just like detectives who go undercover as a gang member in order so that they know what's going on. That's kind of how I like to think about it. So yeah, I have definitely assimilated some of the narcissistic aspects. And the biggest thing is my antitrust. It's really hard for me to let people in because of the fact that it's a defense mechanism for me to protect myself from narcissistic people. And it's a strong defense mechanism. That's my biggest one yet. Because I realize as an empath, when I actually let someone in, they are in, and my trust, they literally could have my trust. And I mean at the degree. So I've learned how to keep my defenses up and make it very hard, extremely hard for me to trust someone. Because once I trust you, I trust you. I'm gonna start off with my high school boyfriend. He was one of my first real boyfriends, and we started dating around when I was around the age 15. And I had a lot of low self-esteem, feeling like I wasn't worthy, I wasn't pretty, who could love me, being adopted, and I just didn't feel great about myself at that time. And then he comes along, he was going through some things, his grandmother was really ill, he had been living with his grandmother, his dad had moved on to some other lady. His mom was living in, what was it, St. Louis or something like that. So, but, I felt like, he was cute. To me, he was cute, he played football, he was really popular. He had a lot of friends. And so, I thought, this guy was just the perfect match, just being naive and coming from my upbringing. I was just like so naively head over heels. And he kept, whispering sweet nothings in my ear. We had started having sex, which was a big no-no. If you're a teenager, do not have sex, because literally, like I said in one of my previous videos, you don't know who you could be having sex with. You could be having sex with a complete sociopath, a complete psychopath, and you don't even know it. But yeah, and turns out, like, I would go over to his house, I would lie to my mom and say, oh, I'm going to stay over at my best friend's house. I was literally at this nigga's house. And he would literally leave me there at his house and go party it up with guys, girls. It's literally no telling who he was with. And he could have been sleeping with them and then coming back to me and then sleeping with me, for all I know. And he kept saying, oh, at first it was blissful. But then he started making me feel like, I wasn't worthy to be with him. He kept going out and not inviting me. Literally, out of the 3 years we dated, I think he had only taken me on one real date. And honestly, I had taken him because I drove my parents' car, or my car at the time. We had gone to the movies, and I can't even remember if he paid for the ticket. I think I paid for the ticket and the food. And I was head over heels for this dude. Like, I would have to, he would call me, I would have to pick him up from his practices, from his games, random places I would pick him up from. I even drove this nigga and his grandma drove with them to the hospital. Just so he could turn around treat me like crap. We didn't end up going to prom together. He probably ended up going to prom with somebody else, honestly. He broke up with me right after we graduated. Went to a school up in California. And then he would call me sometimes late nights, and I would hear girls laughing and kikiing on the phone. Like, he really played into my emotions. And he kept this going on even when I tried to let go. I really tried to, like, distance myself. This dude would still pop up. I remember I was pregnant with my first son, and I had to be around 6 months pregnant. He popped up at my parents' house. He popped up at my house just to keep the narcissistic relationship type thing going. So needless to say, I had to literally end that through blocking this nigga, through changing my number. And I do believe that even still till today, he still managed to wrap whatever he got going on around me. Later on, there was the last time this fool contacted me, was able to. He wanted to tell me about, his baby mama, fiance. I don't know what she is, because I just don't know. I don't know if they could be married by now. I don't know. That he was engaged and he had a child on the way. I looked up his girlfriend. Like I said, she literally looks something like me, just a darker skinned version. But it also seems like she was also playing into the narcissism. Like, I don't know what he was going to her, telling her, thinking that, my whole life is wrapped around him, that I stalked them and all types of stuff. I don't know what he could have been telling her and anybody else he came in contact with. But, I'm far beyond that. I got my own shit to deal with. I got bills to pay. I got kids to take care of. I got a family to support. I have my own life. Like, my life is not wrapped around this nigga. Like I said, he broke it off with me. And once he did that, it had hurt for a time. But I was just like, okay, well, it's time for me to move on with my life as well. I'm much more of a let go, let God type of person. Like, once I put in my mind to let go of something, I typically let go of it, even if it hurts. So yeah, I've dealt with that. I've dealt with just being controlled. And from that, I've learned that I've had to stop trying to be a people pleaser, because the thing with my mom is I always felt like I had to live up to certain standards for her to accept me. I had to do what she wanted me to do in order for me to feel accepted. I felt like she never supported me with my entrepreneurship, anything with me, my creative aspect, or anything like that. I have a business with wall plates. She still fails to support me or promote me in any types of ways. But I have several cousins doing their own entrepreneur, making shirts and all, food and catering and all this stuff, and she will support them all day. She has a pickleball team, and literally just last week she told her team about my cousin who does shirts, and they all pitched in to purchase shirts made by my cousin. But when it comes to things like my wall plates and stuff like that, she won't say a thing about it. The only thing she'll encourage me to do is, stay married to my husband and take care of the kids and go to school. And even with going to school, I feel like I detect a bit of jealousy with that. And being born in this world, you come in naively thinking, you're supposed to have a mother's love, full acceptance, whatever whatever you dream about, whatever your goal or purpose is in life, you expect your mom to be, gung-ho for you 100%. But that wasn't what it was with my mom. It just wasn't. And I was a cheerleader. She went to a few of my my things, a few of my softball games, a few of my basketball games. And I appreciate her for that, because I knew she was working and she was tired. But, I was really seeking her to accept me as her child and really stand up for me, especially when it came to her family. But that was something that she didn't do. And I've had to learn how to safeguard myself to not be susceptible to getting hurt to that kind of bullshit anymore. The same goes for my best friend, my ex-best friend. She was also a narcissist. And if it wasn't about her, it wasn't about nothing. And she had to always be right. She always tried to put the next person down. She would always, everything that if I would date someone, or if she knew something grimy or a little gritty about me, she would always talk to other people, gossip to other people about me, talk down about me, while she was also doing some of the most grimiest stuff. I have many stories of the things she would do when we were out at clubs, or I have some really gritty stories, but I haven't told not one single soul. Maybe I might have told my husband, but other than that, it has not stepped outside the boundaries of other people in our community, our neighborhood, friends, family, nothing like that. But she would talk about me behind my back like I was a low down dog, a hoe, a slut. When she was literally talking about me mirroring herself. So needless to say, I also had to end that relationship through blocking, through changing my number. But I am not, which brings me back to my point that I am not a narcissist. I care very deeply about people. And a lot of times I care so much that I could possibly be trying to save you from something, from experiencing disappointment, or people judging you or judging me, or just anything. I could literally be thinking of you but also safeguarding myself as well. And I'm an empath, so I do care deeply, but I've safeguarded myself. And I just want to give y'all just a synopsis of why I do that. Another thing I want to talk about is we really need to learn how to not put so much attachment and emphasis on money. What I've been experiencing, especially now, especially since this whole inflation, money goes like water. Money just goes like soon as you get it, it could just be gone. So we need to learn how to not have so much of a attachment to money. We need to detach from money, because money comes and goes. It's usually not a constant. It's typically not a constant. It comes and goes. We need to focus on putting our love and attention to the things that are a constant, like family, friends, relationships, self-esteem, building ourselves up, peace of mind, love towards one another, and stop putting so much attachment to money, material things that literally come and go, like clockwork, like water. So that was the last thing I wanted to talk to y'all today. Sending y'all much love, peace, blessings, and light. Okay, I'm not done, y'all. I'm gonna keep going. So yeah, another thing I've had to do was learn how to value myself, love myself, and that could possibly be perceived as being a narcissist. But I've literally had to fight for myself, literally, my entire life. Like I said, I didn't get any support from my friends, from my mom. All I've experienced really is just jealousy and envy, and nobody really wanting to support me. It's like if they see me trying to do anything with my life, they will do anything to try to keep me down, keep me feeling like I'm not worthy of it. Either through, whenever I try to start something up, I see people wanting to imitate or do the same thing, or they'll end up supporting the next person but not supporting what I got going on. So I've had to learn how to just literally cheer for myself, and just love myself. And that can come off as possibly being narcissistic, but it's not that. It's just me having to show love to myself, because nobody else has given more than a damn about me, honestly, to show me any type of respect or love or anything like that. So I've had to do it literally myself. And it's just a shame. You will have mothers that are jealous of you, boyfriends, friends, just random relatives. It could literally be anything, anybody. And it could just be the fact that you might be beautiful, and not just outwardly. Most people who experience a bunch of narcissism in their life are beautiful, not only on the inside but on the outside. You know, you have a good head on your shoulders. You could be very focus driven. You could be the person with the most going for you in the family and be the most hated on because of that simple fact. I had seen a news story about a woman who was literally killed by her baby daddy, and he had also killed his daughter, and then went around and tried to burn their son. I think it was up in Miami. And when I saw the mother that was killed, the young lady that was killed, I was thinking, wow, how beautiful is she? And then she had such a light to her. One of her last videos was talking about self-love and how you need to love yourself and all of this positive stuff. And my number one thought was, how does she end up with this crazy ass nig, this crazy ass mofro of a man, when she seemed like she could have done so much better. But then I started digging a little bit deeper. I saw her sister and her mother, and it looked like she could have been dealing with a narcissistic family too, because she seemed like she had a lot going for her, and it seemed like her family could have been very jealous and envious of her. I mean, she was a very pretty girl compared to, you know, her sister and her mother and all this stuff. And she seemed very intelligent compared to them as well. And it seemed like these were the people keeping her bound, keeping her down. That's probably why she ended up with this no good ass nig who ended up killing her and their daughter, and trying to kill their son. Because you have this narcissistic ass family that don't want you going nowhere with your life. And they literally got what they wanted. And then come to find out, the grandmother nor the sister, the aunt, claimed the boy that was still left alive, claimed their nephew, their grandson. You know who adopted this boy? The white cop and his family who came to the boy's rescue. That's who the boy is living with now. If you don't know how I feel about adoption, I don't encourage adoption at all. My thing about adoption is, you know, if you don't want a child, don't have sex until you're married and you're with the person you want to be with for the rest of your life. I don't support adoption because of situations like what I was putting through. Situations like the kids in the foster care that I was case managing. I don't support adoption because there's always going to be some type of trauma the child goes through and experiences through that. And when you have an interracial adoption, that makes it even that much more worse, because whether we want to address it or not, that child is always going to experience low self-esteem, not feeling worthy, depression, anxiety, especially if you especially if you are living in a family that is opposite from your race. So that's why I don't promote adoption. I don't promote abortion. I promote waiting until you're married to have sexual intercourse. That way, when you do create or have a baby, it's with someone you plan on spending the rest of your life with. That way you don't have to deal with these generational curses on that comes along with it. To where, people are suffering from PTSD, depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, antitrust. So, that's another thing I wanted to add. I'm not an expertise on narcissism. I did want to refer y'all to maybe look up The Spiritual Whistleblower. She is a great person to uplift a person who's experienced narcissism. I'm not an expert. Y'all go check her out. I'm just speaking on my personal experiences and what I've encountered through my life. Much love and blessings.